Welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This college is affiliated to Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak and approved by All India Council for Technical Education. This video lecture is a part of series developed for online classes. Hello everyone, my name is Ashish Tripathi and I am working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management since 2015. My areas of interest are data analysis and data visualization, which are recommended to be a data scientist. Logical Organization of Computer. It is a course in Maharshi Dayanand University for the BCA second semester. This course comprises of the flip-flops, registers, counters and memory circuits. So let's study about this course from the Unit 1. The first lecture of Unit 1 is of sequential logic and about the flip-flops. Sequential circuit. The sequential circuit has memory, so output can vary based on the input and the time. This type of circuit uses previous input, output, clock and a memory element. In sequential circuit, memory elements are added to combination circuit to form a feedback path. The memory elements are devices capable of storing binary information within them. This information defines the state of the sequential circuit. Since memory is finite, therefore the sequence size must always be finite, which means that the sequential logic can contain only a finite number of states. So, sequential circuits are sometimes called finite state machines. The sequential circuit receives binary information from external inputs. The inputs, together with present state, determine the binary value of the output terminal. The sequential circuit is specified by a time sequence of input, output and internal states. The sequence circuit is a circuit whose output depends on the present input as well as on the past output. Here is a block diagram. In this, you can see that there is a combination circuit which is receiving the input from the external source and giving the output. The output is also feedback as the memory element in the combination circuit. So the previous output correspond with the present input to give the present output. Some of the characteristics of the sequential circuit are: it is a circuit which works in sequence by taking present inputs and past value of the inputs. It contains at least one memory element for storage of previous output. In this, output is fed as an input directly or indirectly. It becomes complex to design due to the presence of the memory element. Its performance depends on the set of subsequent state values and set of output values. It is comparatively slower in speed as output is delayed. It requires less hardware for its realization. It is cheaper in cost because of less hardware. So you can see that sequential circuit is far better than the combination circuit because of the presence of the memory element in them. Because of this memory element, we can control the output. Types of sequential circuit. There are two types of sequential circuit. synchronous sequential circuit and asynchronous sequential circuit. So let's start with the asynchronous sequential circuit. An asynchronous sequential circuit is a system whose behavior depends upon the sequence in which the input signals change. They change their state and output values whenever a change in input value occurs. There is no timing pulses. Event occurs only after the previous event is over. Memory element is either non-clocked flip-flop or time delay devices. When the input changes, the output changes instantly. Now, synchronous sequential circuit. A synchronous sequential circuit is a system whose behavior can be defined from the knowledge of its signal at discrete instant of time. They change their state and output values at fixed point of time, which are specified by the rising or the falling edge of a free running clock signal. There is a train of clock pulses given by the master clock generator. Event occurs during regular timing pulses. Memory devices are called the flip-flop. So here you can see very well that in the asynchronous circuit there is a non-clocked flip-flop. That means if there is a flip-flop that is not provided by any clock circuit, so it is basically a time delay device. There is no timing pulses and the next event occur as soon as the previous event get over. But in the synchronous sequential circuit, there is a train of the clock pulses generated by the master clock generator. Hence, every event occurs only at a regular timing of pulses. These memory are basically known as the clocked flip-flops. So in this our course, we are generally conscious about the synchronous sequential circuit which are having the clock pulses. Here is a tabular difference between the combinational circuit and the sequential circuit. As you can see that in the combinational circuit, the present output depends upon the present set of input only. But in the sequential circuit, the present output depends upon the present set of input and the past input history. Combinational circuit has no memory element, but sequential circuit has a memory element, at least one there is present. In the combinational circuit, it is easy to define due to the absence of memory, but in the sequential circuit, it requires some difficult or design due to the presence of the memory element. The combinational circuit has a very simple architectural design. The sequential circuit, because of the presence of the memory element, the architectural design is complex. There is no feedback from the output to the input in the combinational circuit, but in the sequential circuit, the past output is feedback as input directly or indirectly to the present input. Combinational circuit needs more hardware for its realization because there are presence of so many gates. But in the sequential circuit, we have the flip-flop, which are the combination of some logic. Hence, it requires less hardware for its realization. Combinational circuits are expensive due to the availability of so many gates in the circuit, but sequential circuits are cheaper because you have to buy only a simple IC or a flip-flop. Examples of combinational circuit are half adder, half full adder, parallel binary adder, and so on. Examples of sequential circuit are flip-flops, counters, and shift registers. Okay, now let's study about the flip-flop. Flip-flop is a sequential circuit which generally samples its input and changes its output only at a particular instant of time and not continuously. Flip-flop is said to be edge sensitive or edge triggered rather than being level triggered like latches. A flip-flop circuit can maintain a binary state indefinitely until directed by an input signal to switch the states. The major difference among the various type of flip-flops are in the number of input they process and in the manner in which the input affect the binary state. It has two outputs, one for the normal value and the other for the complemented value of the bit stored in it. So you can say that a flip-flop is a binary cell circuit capable of storing one bit of information, either 0 or 1, based on the input. Flip-flop is said to be edge sensitive or edge triggered. Here are the characteristics of the flip-flop. A flip-flop is a basic memory element present in the sequential circuit. A flip-flop is a bistable multi-vibrator because it changes state as soon as the input and the previous output change. It has two states, set and reset. It continues to remain in a state until a triggering signal occurs. So whenever you have to change the state of a flip-flop, you have to trigger a signal, which is with the help of a clock or with the help of some input. It has one or more inputs. You can provide more than one input to a single flip-flop. It has two outputs. One is the normal, that is Q, and the other is the complemented of it, that is a Q dash. It is a binary storage device which stores either 0 or 1. Some of the applications of the flip-flop are: flip-flops are used in the transfer of data, that is, the data stored in a flip-flop can be easily transferred in serial or the parallel fashion. Flip-flops are used in digital counting devices because flip-flops are connected in a manner to count the pulses electronically. Hence, when the input are supplied to the flip-flop, they go on counting from the 0 to some number and then again reverse back to the 0. Flip-flops are the basic building block because in every sequential circuit you will either find a clocked flip-flop or a non-clocked flip-flop. Flip-flops are used in the frequency division. So a flip-flop can be used to divide the frequency into half because at 50% of the time the flip-flop is in the set state and the other 50% of the time the flip-flop is in the reset state. So flip-flop can be used as a frequency divider. Flip-flops are also used as a data storage devices because they are capable of storing a single bit of information, that is in the form of a 0 or 1. So we can use a flip-flop to store the item. Edge triggering. Flip-flop which changes their output only corresponding to the positive, that is a rising, or the negative, that is the falling edge of the clock input. So we have seen that the flip-flop are edge triggered. They are not level triggered like the latches. So there are two types of edge triggering. The first is the positive edge triggering. In this, the flip-flop which allow its output to change in response to its input only at the instant corresponding to the rising edge of the clock, that is the positive spike. Its output will not respond to change in input at any other instant of time. So whenever there is a rising edge of the clock, then only the output is going to change. In the negative edge triggering, the flip-flop which respond only to the falling edge of the clock, that is a negative spike of the clock, it is known as the negative edge triggering. Hence, we can configure our flip-flop in any of these edge triggering, either in the positive edge triggering or in the negative edge triggering. SR flip-flop, or you can say set reset flip-flop. So SR flip-flop is basically an SR latch using the NAND gates or the NOR gates with an additional enable input. It is also called as the level triggered SR flip-flop. It has three inputs labeled as S, that is a set, R, that is reset, and CLK, that is for clock. It has the output Q and the complemented output Q dash. So here is a block diagram of the SR flip-flop. In this you are seeing that there is a box which has three inputs, namely S, E and R, and there are two outputs, namely Q and Q dash. Below that, there is a circuit for the SR flip-flop which is totally based on the NAND gates. In this, the S flip-flop and the R set are having the high and low inputs, and the Q and Q dash are the outputs. Here is the truth table for the SR flip-flop. So whenever the enable input is 1, then only the flip-flop is going to work. When the enable is 1 and the value of S and R both are 0, then we say that there is no change in the state. Hence, the next state is same as the previous state. But when the value of S is 0 and the value of R is 1, then the state is changed and there is a reset state. When the value of S is 1 and the value of R is 0, then the flip-flop is in the set state and we are getting Q as 1. But when both of the S and R value are 1, then the output is in the indeterminate state because it is not stable. Below that you are also seeing an operation table. In this you can clearly see that when S and R both are 0, then there is no change because the NAND gates number 3 and 4 become 1. When S equals 0 and R equals 1, that is in the reset state, the output of the NAND gate 3, that is the R dash, is 1 and enable is 1. The output of the NAND gate 4, that is the S dash, is 0. So Q next is 0 and Q dash next is 1. When the S input is 1 and R input is 0, then it is in the set state. Here the output of the third NAND, that is the R dash, is 0 and the output of the NAND 4, that is the S dash, is 1. Hence the output of SR NAND latch is Q next is 1 and Q dash next is 0. When S and R both are 1, then the output of the NAND gates 3 and 4 both are 0, that is S dash and R dash is 0. Because of this indeterminate state, the SR flip-flop are not used. So if you are using both the input as high, then you are not accustomed or you are not certain about the output. Hence flip-flop SR is not used. Delay flip-flop or D flip-flop is the simple gated SR latch with a NAND inverter connected between the S and R inputs. It has only one input. The input data is appearing at the output after some time. Due to this data delay between the input and output, it is called the delay flip-flop. S and R will be complement of each other due to the NAND inverter. Hence, there is not a condition of having both the S and R inputs to be 0 or 1. So there is even a indeterminate state. Here is a block diagram for the delay flip-flop. In this you are seeing that there is a two input, one is for the D and the other is for clock. There are two outputs, one is for the normal Q and the other is the complemented Q. Below that you are seeing a circuit diagram in which SR flip-flop are being transformed into a D flip-flop by putting a inverted NAND gate between the S and R inputs. Here, whenever the S value is 0, then the R value will be 1, and when the S value is 1, then the R value will be 0. So this change of the values result in some delay of the output. Hence, it is known as the delay flip-flop. On the right hand side, you can see the functioning of the delay flip-flop. In this, whenever the value of item is 0 in the data, then if we are putting the clock at 0 or putting the clock at 1, we are not getting any output. But as soon as the data becomes 1, then as soon as the clock always goes from 0 to 1, then we are getting the output. Here is an operation for the D flip-flop. In this you can see, so when the condition of D input is 0, then S becomes 0 and R becomes 1. Hence, irrespective of the present state, the next state Q n plus 1 becomes 0 and Q dash n plus 1 becomes 1. So this is the reset condition. So whenever we input the value of D equals 0, then we get the reset condition. But when we put the D equals 1 as the input, then S becomes 1 and R becomes 0, resulting in the set condition. JK flip-flop. A JK flip-flop is a refinement over the SR flip-flop in that the indeterminate condition of the SR flip-flop is defined in the JK type flip-flop. Input J and K behave like input S and R to be set and reset of the flip-flop. When the input of J and K are both equal to 1, a clock transition switches the output of the flip-flop to their complement state. Therefore, the next output will be the complement of the present input. Here you can see the circuit diagram of the JK flip-flop. It is having the feedback from the extreme side to the J and K input. So in the truth table we can see that when the J and K value is 0, then there is no change in the output values. When the J input is 0 and the K input is 1, then we are getting a reset condition. When the J input is 1 and K input is 0, we are getting a set condition. But when the J input is 1 and K input is also 1, we are getting the complement condition. That is, the output toggles between the state. The J and K flip-flop was named after Jack Kilby, the Texas instrument engineer that invented the integrated circuit in 1958. Here is the operation of the JK flip-flop. So when J equals 0, K equals 0, the NAND gates are disabled, so there is no effect on the flip-flop. Hence, the Q returns the last unchanged state. When J equals 0 and K equals 1, initially, if we suppose that Q equals to 0, then the upper first NAND gate gives 1 as the output and the second NAND gate gives 0 as the output, so the state is reset. When J equals 1 and K equals 0 and assuming that Q equals 0, the upper first NAND gate gives 0 as the output and the second NAND gate gives 1 as the output, so the state is in the set state. When J equals 1 and K equals 1 and we are assuming that Q equals 0, then the upper NAND gate will set the state giving Q equals 1 as the output, and when this is applied to the lower NAND gate, it resets the state giving Q is equal to 0 as the output. Hence, without changing the input, the output of the flip-flop is continuously changing. This state is known as the toggle state. So if we are just providing the input one time in the J and K as 1, then without changing the input, if we keep on changing the clock pulses, then on each clock pulse the output varies. That means if the Q value is 1, it goes into 0, and if it is 0, it goes into 1. This is continuous change. Toggle flip-flop. A toggle flip-flop is basically a JK flip-flop with J and K terminals permanently connected together. It has only input denoted by T, so if J equals 0 and K equals 0 and both will be 1 at same time, hence for above case the output will toggle. So toggle flip-flop is just used to change the state. If the input is 0 for J and K, then there is no change in the state. But if the input for J and K both are 1, then we have seen previously that the output toggles. Hence, this is the case in which this toggle flip-flop works. As you can see here that when the t value is 0, then there is no change in the output, and when the t value is 1, then both the j and k value is 1, hence there is toggling effect in the output. Master slave flip-flop. Master slave JK flip-flop is a cascade of the two SR flip-flop with feedback from the output of the second to the input of the first. Master is a positive level triggered, but due to the presence of the inverter in the clock line, the slave will respond to the negative level. Hence, when the clock equals 1, the master is active and slave is inactive. Whereas when the clock equals 0, the slave is active and the master is inactive. In this truth table, you can see the effect of the rising and the falling edges of the clock pulse corresponding to the 4 input conditions, that is j and k equals 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Here you are seeing that the present state of Q and Q dash is 0, 1. Correspondingly, whenever the clock pulse goes, then the master is activated, and after the clock pulse is 1, then the master is activated, and when the clock pulse is 0, the slave is activated. Hence, we see different output. Whichever the output of the master, the same is the output of the slave. Here you can see that when j and k both are 0, then there is no change of the state, because when the clock is 0, the slave becomes active and the master is inactive. But since S and R input have not changed, the slave output will also remain unchanged. Therefore, the output will not change for j and k equals 0. When j equals 0 and k equals 1, then for a positive clock, that is clock equal to 1, the master is active and the slave is inactive. In this, the output of the master becomes Q1 equals to 0 and Q1 dash equals 1. That is S equals 0 and R equals 1. When the clock goes to 0, that is slave active and master inactive, the input for S was 0 and the input for R was 1, hence the output Q becomes 0 and Q dash becomes 1. Again the clock goes to 1, that is master again becomes active and the slave becomes inactive. So therefore, even with the change output Q equals 0 and Q dash equal to 1, this feedback is given to the master. Hence Q1 it becomes 0 and Q1 dash becomes 1. This means S becomes 0 and R becomes 1. So this keeps on going and we are getting the same output, that is the reset condition, where Q, the final output Q, is always 0 and Q dash is always 1. When J equals 1 and K equals 0, for the positive clock pulse, master becomes active and slave becomes inactive. Here the output of the master becomes Q1, that is 1 for S, and Q1 dash becomes 0 for R. When clock goes to 0, slave become active and master become inactive, then the slave will give the output for final Q as 1 and Q dash as 0. This is the set condition. Now refer to the toggling state. Here J and K both are 1. So we have seen that when both J and K are 1, then it is a toggling state for the J and K flip-flop. Hence, when the clock is 1, the master becomes active and the slave becomes inactive. So output of the master will toggle, so S and R will also be inverted. When clock becomes 0, the slave becomes active and the master becomes inactive. So output of the slave will toggle. These change output are returned back to the master input, but since clock equals 0, the master is still inactive. So it does not respond to these change output. This avoids the multiple toggling which leads to the race around condition. The master slave flip-flop will avoid the race around condition. So whenever the output are being toggled the first time, that output is not being feedback to the master because the clock is 0. Hence there won't be any further toggling of the output. In this way, master slave flip-flop has avoided the toggling condition which was there in the normal JK flip-flop. The race around condition in JK flip-flop. In JK flip-flop, output is feedback to the input as you have already seen. Therefore, change in the output results change in the input. Due to this, for every positive clock pulse and keeping J and K equals to 1, the output toggles continuously. This is called the race around condition. So without any change in the input, the output changes continuously, hence there is no fixed output state. This can be eliminated in two ways, by using the edge triggered JK flip-flop or by using the master slave JK flip-flop. So as we have already seen in the master slave flip-flop that the toggling state has been avoided because the output from the slave flip-flop is not being feedbacked into the master because of the clock as 0. So master slave flip-flop has avoided the race around condition. Similarly, in the edge triggered JK flip-flop, the flip-flop will work only in the edges of the clock pulse. So there won't be any toggling because the clock pulse will go from positive edge to the negative edge. Latch. Latch is a simply memory element which consists of a pair of logic gates with their inputs and outputs interconnected in a feedback arrangement which permits a single bit to be stored. It is a non-clocked flip-flop. So you have seen that in the asynchronous sequential circuit we have used a non-clocked flip-flop, that was the latch. Here is a difference between the latch and the flip-flop. Latches, as you have seen, does not have a clock signal, but in the flip-flop we should always be using a clock signal. Latch has an enable input, but flip-flop has a clock input. Latch works in the level triggered devices and flip-flop works in the edge triggered devices. Latches are mostly asynchronous, but flip-flop are mostly synchronous. Latches take less gates to implement because it has less number of NAND gates. It has only 2 NAND gates. But in the flip-flop, it has more than 2 NAND gates. Latches are faster, but flip-flop are slower. SR latch. While the S and R input are both low, the feedback maintains the Q and Q dash output in a constant state. So if the S, that is the set, is pulsed high while the R reset is held low, then the Q output is forced high and stays high when the S returns to low. Similarly, if the R is pulsed high while the S is held low, then the Q output is forced low and stays low when R returns to low. So in the first diagram you are seeing that when S is 1, then you are getting Q as 0 and it remains as 0 whenever there is a feedback from the output of R. So till the time the S is 1 and R is 0, the Q output is 0. But in the diagram on the right hand side you are seeing that when R is 1 and S is 0, then you are getting the Q output as 1. So there is a feedback effect. Hence you can see then when S is 1 and R is 0, then the Q output is high and it will stay high. But if the R is 1 and S is 0, then the Q output stays low, that is 0. Questions for today's session are: what is a sequential circuit? Write its characteristics. Draw and explain the operation of the SR, delay and toggle flip-flop. What is race around condition and how it is eliminated? What is a latch and differentiate between a latch and a flip-flop. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you have learned about the various types of flip-flop and the working of the SR-DT master slave flip-flop, as well as you have learned about the race around condition and how to eliminate it. You have also learned about the latches and you have differentiated it with the flip-flop. Now we will meet and in the next lecture and discuss about the state diagram, state table and characteristics and the excitation table of the flip-flops. Till then, take care and goodbye.